tribes through legalized robbery. Her story was of his home place, his family, his tribe, his state, and even his country. And it shaped his understanding of his possibilities in the broader world. Sometimes history hurts, and I know he felt that pain. I do too. Note to listeners regarding terminology and identity. Whenever possible, I use specific names, such as Chickasaw, Choctaw, etc. Over the course of my own lifetime, scholarly preferences for general terminology have moved from Indian to American Indian to Native American or Native to Indigenous. I use these interchangeably, but tend to prefer Native American, Native, and Native peoples. When referring to a given sovereign, political, and cultural entity, I use Native Nation or Tribal Nation, capitalizing to highlight sovereignty and demonstrate respect. I occasionally shorthand Tribal Nation to Tribal, capitalized. I have encountered scholars who insist on using nation or nations in every case, regardless of the opinion of the group in question. For example, the Cherokee Nation, Chickasaw Nation, Choctaw Nation, Muskogee Creek Nation, and Seminole Nation collectively call themselves the Five Tribes, not the Five Nations. I once succumbed to editorial pressure on this point in a particular essay and have regretted it ever since. The most appropriate term is always what the sovereign calls itself, or what the group of sovereigns called themselves as a collective. In the state of Oklahoma, which was once Indian territory, the terms Indian and tribe are regularly used in everyday life by Native Americans and with familiarity and respect. The term Indian country has specific legal connotations as well as general cultural connotations and common usage. Over the years, I have turned to "And Still the Waters Run" many times. Although the words never change, its significance to me does. When I read it as a scholar, or as my father's daughter, or as a Chickasaw, my perspective shifts. When and where matters too. Reading the book from some remove, having left Oklahoma for a professorship in New Mexico, or reading it anew a decade later when working for my tribe. More than once, Debo described her view of Oklahoma as America in microcosm, as a place where history telescopes within the lifetime of men now living, the whole story of the United States. Debo's reference to a telescope seems important, an instrument of distance, focus, precision, and clarity. Such confidence. For me, a Chickasaw citizen, Oklahoman born and bred, and a Native American studies professor at the University of Oklahoma, the lens through which I read this land, its history, and its peoples has always been an up-close kaleidoscope, ever shifting in color, form, shape, and meaning. But Debo's confidence helps ground our understanding of the facts of this place. By reissuing "And Still the Waters Run," Princeton University Press has, like my father, placed Debo's book in a special place on its bookshelf. I hope in this foreword to describe the facts of the book and its history, what it says, and what we know about its author. But much has happened since its publication. It is important to reflect, too, on why it remains significant across time and place to academe, to the descendants of the people of her story, to the Five Tribes whose strength and sovereignty persist, and to all who call this land home. The publication. Debo completed the manuscript that would become "And Still the Waters Run" in 1936 and submitted it to the director of the University of Oklahoma Press.